Hi, this is Michael DeSilvis from New Hunter Church of Christ and DeSilvis' Media Broadcast. We've got some things we want to tell you about. This is in the news segment for March the 13th, 2015. Now, we're warning you, we've been sending out stuff along with Alex Jones about how this FCC rule's been going out. And it looks really bad, like a lot of things what we feared. Now, the bill might seem like, in a sense, that it seems like it might be, it might have some good language to it. But really, that's not really the case at all. That's just an illusion, you know. It's like the Navy used to tell me, things are not what it always seems. And that's true, because about this bill, it is nothing like what they make it sound or what it really is. So, we're going to explain this, but we want to warn, first of all, tonight, we want to warn parents about an app called Kik. It's spelled K-I-K, and you can get it on the Android store, or you can get it on your iOS store, and you may be able to get it through the Windows store. I'm not sure about that, but if you can, you need to have a discussion with your kids if they plan to continue to still use the app. A number of children and teenagers have been contacted by child predators through this app. As a matter of fact, 3 of them, while they were interrogated over the last 3 or 4 weeks when they've been arrested recently, have omitted to the fact that they've used that app to contact and to lure children and teenagers. So we just ask that you have a calm discussion about your kids removing that app off their phone, or if they're going to use it, that if they receive a strange text or a message from someone that they don't know, to not respond to it or reply to it, just ignore it or delete it. And if they keep on writing you and wanting to contact you, then report that to your authorities and let them take over from there. The headquarters to the Kik application is based in Canada, in Ontario, Canada. So indictments and getting things for law enforcement, because they say they'll work with law enforcement here in the United States in the FBI, Bureau of Investigations. But it takes a little while because of country jurisdictions and different laws between the two nations. So it kind of, won't be exactly in real time like it is here in the U.S. because of that, legal barriers because of country and territorial boundaries, that sort of thing. So it's not really good when it comes to saving a child, because chances are these children may have already been lured and may have maybe have had something sexually done to them. So it's important to have that discussion with your children about this app, and if they're going to use it, to be responsible. A lot of children that are teenagers and young and people that are 10 or tweens and teens are really drawn to it because there's not really any rules, and parents can't really monitor what they're doing on this app, and that's why kids are so interested to it. And that's another reason why predators are all the more interested in the Kik app too, because they can actually contact your children anonymously and try to talk to them and lure them to meet them somewhere. And that's what scares the living mess out of me, and it should scare you too. And that's why it's all the more reason, really, I would just take it off their phones, or have them remove it off their phones, and make sure you're there with them to see that they did uninstall it. It's Michael DeSilvis in the news. Also about the FCC, we're going to have InfoWars. Alex Jones explain that bill to us here, and we're going to play it for you, and we're going to play it here about the new bill that has gone into effect from our lovely people of the FCC. They make it sound so wonderful, but really it's not wonderful. It's actually infringement on your rights. Just listen to what he says here.
Do the best job I can. Just the last few hours with my crew, go over what exactly is in the 400 plus, not 300 plus pages of the telecom, not legislation, but regulatory rules that the FCC just released 2 weeks after they said they would. And it's all written in legalese. It's all written very dry. I've worked in talk radio in 4 different radio stations physically. I've been on air 20 years and run my own media telecommunications organization. So I know about copyright, I know about telecom rules, I know about FCC rules. I know a lot about the FCC. I've been involved in micro FM, quite frankly leading a movement to have that sprout up around the country about 18 years ago. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I know what I'm talking about when I get into this. It'll take the media days to digest what's in here. There are a few mainstream news articles that are just saying, oh, they said they're going to protect the internet. Here's the sections where they do it. And yes, they make some claims in there. But if you read the enforcement and the powers and the jurisdictions that they are claiming, the document 295 times says enforce. You can search the term penalty, fines, sanctions. It says in here that you basically can't appeal. Remember, it's the FCC that you're going to be dealing with here. And here's what's really bad. It does announce as telecom the U.S. code subsection over cable and over internet and basically over all data transmission through the air or down lines. This is a total 360 takeover of all communications by the FCC. Says fines 24 times. Get ready. I mean, this is unbelievable. In fact, print me the whole document. I know I've just got subsections here. I had the whole document. We're tearing it apart in there. Print me a whole fresh copy, please. And exactly how many pages is it? We'll put it on screen for TV viewers. Radio listeners, go to Infowars.com. We've got the whole document posted there.
400 pages.
400 exactly. Thank you, CJ. You go to section 36 of 5 of FCC 15-24 regulations, and it talks about enforcement. It defines enforcement. And it says the commission may enforce the open internet rules through investigation and processing of complaints, both formal and informal. That's how they do it with broadcast, to everything. I mean, they go in and define it as they've done in broadcast. That means complaining about speech, everything. I mean, this is so horrible. No wonder they sat on this. In addition, the commission may provide guidance through the use of enforcement advisories and advisory opinions. That means they sue you. And it will appoint an omnibudsperson in order to provide the commission with additional understanding, particularly of technical issues. The order delegates to the Enforcement Bureau the authority. Did you hear that? The Enforcement Bureau, it's in every state, in every major city, to request a written opinion from an outside technical organization. That means the telecoms or other corporate groups, or otherwise to obtain objective advice from industry standards setting bodies or similar organizations. Then it goes into investment with Title II to fund the power grab, how to tax you, how to regulate, how the industry has $271 billion a year, how they're planning to grab some of that. I mean, this, when you know how to read the legalese here, boy, you better watch out. I mean, you know how much they fine and fee and regulate and tax to have an AM or FM station? UHF, VHF. Enforcement and relationship to existing transparency rule. And they go on to basically create a bunch of regulations to harass anybody with any type of media organization. If you've got 50 customers on an email account and run some tiny local internet company in some little town, they're coming. On page 120, you've got 272 for informal complaints and investigations. The Enforcement Bureau efforts will continue to be informed by resolutions or formal complaints, and will also continue to be informed by the standards developed by existing multi-stakeholder. That means the globalist companies, industry and consumer groups. That means all the leftist consumer groups. See, they'll have a vote on what's done, not you. The Enforcement Bureau will also work. See, when a bunch of George Soros NGOs complain, oh, they're coming. The Enforcement Bureau, that's what George Soros funded $196 million to get this in. It's always the same guy. I'm not demonizing him. It's just always him. Riot and shoot the cops, George Soros. Want world government? Want to turn the guns in? George Soros. Want to shut down Alex Jones? George Soros. Want to fund the internet takeover? George Soros.
Or independent media.
Want to fund a Russian war? George Soros. I mean, it's just, the guy's probably smells like sulfur or something. I think it was like Beelzebub in a
demon.
red
It's
pajamas.
a demon. They look like a demon.
Man, it's a joke.
Yeah,
A literal Nazi collaborator, and he's running around in the open, screwing the country over. The Enforcement Bureau will also work with interested parties on an informal basis, I mean secretly with informants, to identify ways to promote compliance with the open internet rules. Oh, promote compliance, and then they go into that, lawsuits, you name it. Legal authority, and this is where you go then find, under this title, lawsuits, fines, regulations. We ground the open internet rules we adopt today in multiple sources of legal authority. Section 706, Title 2, Title 3 of the Telecommunications Act. We're going to go to that in a moment. We marshal all of these sources of authority towards a common statutory supported goal. They're creating a new mega law to protect, or a new uniform commercial code, to protect and promote internet openness as a platform of competition, free expression, innovation, a driver of economic growth, and an engine of virtuous cycle of broadband deployment. But we know how they've always really acted, and we know Obama and Soros are for it. Doesn't matter what they claim they're doing. Give me the keys to your house. Why? Because I want to come and kiss you at night and pat you on the head. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
274, we therefore invoke multiple complementary sources of legal authority, as a number of parties point out, over authority under Section 706 is not mutually exclusive with our authority under. So they're just saying, basically, we can do anything we want. Titles 2 and 3 of the Act. So they're saying we got more power than that. Rather, we read our statute to provide several alternative sources of authority that work in concrete towards common ends. As described below under Section 706, the Commission has the authority to adopt these open internet rules to encouraging and accelerate the deployment of broadband to all Americans. And that's what they announced 5 years ago. That, quote, remember Obama? Got feds to provide free broadband to all. You deserve it like a chicken in every pot. Then they'll bring their...
That was a big lie. Because it's not going to be free, because you can be taxed and regulated to death so that other people can have the internet. If you don't conform to their laws, then you're going to be taken down or shut down and arrested and sued. And that's really what this bill talks about. Let's go back to it.
Control. They'll undercut industry. They'll put their messages over it and branding, and they will certainly give preferential treatment. In Europe, Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com is already banned in most train stations, libraries. You've seen the news articles. So that's where this is going. This is Internet 2 from the government with select corporations branding it a safe Internet, which they're going to tax. Section 706 and B each provide an express affirmative grant of authority to the Commission, and the rules we adopt today fall well within their scope. So they're basically saying the power we have over broadcast, we now have over cable, telecoms, and all internet transmissions. I mean, that is huge.
And they can do whatever they want, basically.
We're going to sue somebody if they go in and don't let certain websites have their information over it. No, that's already going on. It's saying we're going to take it over and provide it for free to everybody and this is so scary.
This is worse than the 50s from what the laws were back then.
Listen to this. This is their declaratory statement.
Here, a little more
47 U.S.C. 1302A, Section 706A, provides in full. The Commission, each state commission, that's the state local group.
That's in your town or city.
Boy.
This is getting really bad.
Remember when they opened up broadband on AM, FM, digital, where you could have hundreds of local stations if you wanted, and they gave them basically to nobody local, but they'll give one channel of hundreds of new ones to some socialist group or some Reconquista Open Borders group. That's what they've done in Austin. They've been given actually 2 channels. So the most anti-gun, vile garbage gets a FM channel, but nobody else does. And then all these commercial interests get it. See, so it's not even truly socialist where they just hand it out randomly to groups or there's a lottery. No. All the little pet groups get to take over the media. Whew. Man, this is bad. The Commission, each state commission with a regulatory jurisdiction over telecommunication services, shall encourage the...
This is something that everyone who broadcasts on whatever platform you're on should be very concerned about and really do something to help to vote against and stop, write letters, do whatever you can, through legal process to stop this any way you can, because this is horrible legislation is being put on everything, not just broadcast, but speech and everything. That's what he said. It's on speech, everything. Even if you're going down the street, you're saying something, somebody don't like it, they can fine you even just by talking through, by using your mouth, not broadcasting. So it impacts a lot more than just broadcasting. Listen to more what Alex Jones has to say here.
Of a reasonable and timely basis of advanced telecommunications capability to all Americans. See, they will decide who gets it, not the market, including in particular elementary and secondary schools and classrooms, by utilizing in a manner consistent with the public interest, convenience and necessity, price cap regulation, price cap. Oh my
going back to the Soviet Union.
That's Nixonian.
Yeah.
Or Soviet.
We're going in Russia territory.
Do that as well. That's why it sounds weird. Soviet and Nixonian, yeah. Price cap. They actually use the word price cap. Regulatory forbearance. Measures that promote competition. I love how they say price caps, competition, in a local telecommunications market, or other regulating methods that remove barriers to infrastructure investment. Well, that's antitrust, and that's Congress, not the FCC.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, my gosh, folks, this just gets worse. 281 of page 123. The open internet rules fall well in the scope of our Section 706 authority. So they now basically claim broadcast control over everything. So what they've done with broadcast, they're going to do with the internet, and they're going to create a, quote, utility that's free. Well, your electricity's not free.
Yeah, remember how we use that analogy? You got to pay for it, right?
Your gas isn't free,
the
but
internet
this
is going to be
free.
The same way. It's
Which is going to be
free.
giant giveaways to the big telecoms that play ball, just like the Obama phone scam.
Right.
So the FCC within it has so many frauds, but that's another headline right off that subsection. FCC to provide free internet like Obama phone as political payoff. I mean, unbelievable. And then Carlos Slim has made, last number I saw in the Wall Street Journal, he owns part of the New York Times, was something like $4 billion off the Obama phone. We didn't even give it to an American company to make the billions of dollars off the boondoggle of the free Obama phones.
Something wrong with that.
$4 billion to the Mexican kingpin involved in everything you can imagine.
It's a lot of criminal acts, a lot of things that are going on here, you know. You know, it's the same thing what they're doing with this FCC bill. There's lots of people or certain people that are making a huge amount of money off of this regulation, and it all smells like it's from hell. I mean, it doesn't look good at all for all types of media, including FM. I mean, the fines and all are exorbitant. If they're going to apply the same rules to the internet as they do to FM and to AM radio stations, it's going to be disastrous. It's going to destroy the stations. It's going to cause a lot of stations like us and, you know, many stations to go dark. And that's what they've done in Europe already, and that's what they're trying to do here, and that's why we all need to stop this ASAP as soon as possible. This is red alert, folks.
Oh my God, folks, I've only gotten into one small area of this. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
I mean, it's just a portion of what he's covering.
Running with?
Okay.
The media I'm going to get to in a moment is, the controlled media is with what they say they're doing this for. Because Obamacare is going to give you something free, and we're going to take your guns to protect the children. It's got all these statements of intent.
And that's all a bunch of lies to distract you from what really is going on, and that's to regulate, to charge you, to sue people, to shut people down who are innocently trying to do something good, to help people, to inform people, to censor people, and that's really what it's all about, to distract you with all these other things that they're saying, just so you won't know, so you won't really be aware of what's going on, and then when they fully put the hammer down, it's going to be too late. That's why we're trying to get the news out, InfoWars, and we're trying at DeSilvis Media to get the news out to you as quick as possible so you can get a heads up on it, because we're like 2 weeks behind on this thing, and we need to really put the pedal to the metal and all start getting together and have peaceful protest and all the more to stop this. Let's go back to this.
Which, as we know, means nothing. What matters is what they actually announce in the teeth of the enforcement and what they claim the powers they have. E, enforcement of the open internet rules. Background. And they go into how they're going to enforce. They're going to hear from consumers, that's the socialists that complain, and stakeholders, that's the big companies.
Corporations, mainly.
And then they break down how they will do it with lawsuits and other mechanisms that they've used under, then they mention the subsections they've used in broadcast, which is armed raids, arrest, fines, fees. I mean, get ready, the FCC. I was on a tiny ferry. First I saw them on big ferries this weekend down in Port Aransas. A ferry that goes about 200 yards, 300 yards across there at Aransas Pass, and they had a TSA guy bugging his eyes out on people. When you're going across, it takes 60 seconds. And it was TSA. And if you try to go to Galveston at the ferry, they search every car that comes through and check under the hood and everywhere. But the border stays wide open, and they fund ISIS. It's nothing but internal checkpoints. I mean, I'm just showing how the TSA is taking over.
See, and the thing is, Alex Jones alluding to that, but it really all has to do with this bill because it's all a part of the bigger picture, is how they want to get into every aspect of your life to control everything from the internet to what you say, to what you broadcast, to what you do, where you go. It's all a part of this new bill. I mean, it covers the gamut of everything, not just broadcasting, but it also covers this too. So, you know, this is what he's saying. There's a lot of truth to it. And it really is true about it.
I mean, it is just a federal power grab.
That's exactly what it is.
Page 105. Designing an effective enforcement process. And then it goes through how they will establish Department of Justice referrals for Department of Justice visits. That's in 228. And how they will also use the state bureaus of the FCC under existing code. And when you read the existing code, it is, in some cases, armed FCC agents. And they've got stuff in here about, open to the blind or the deaf. So now if you have a tiny website and you don't sign up to Google or whatever to then provide translation, now they're going to come shut you down. And they've been talking about that forever. I mean, this is just
an assault.
I just don't even have words at this point. I mean, this is just
ridiculous.
exactly what we thought it would be and more.
It's just a nightmare, folks.
They say you can find requests for advisory opinions to follow this via Commission's website or with Office of the Secretary and must be copied to the Commission staff. So it's the same thing. This is so out of control. Oh, here's the best part. The Enforcement Bureau will have discretion to choose whether it will respond to a request to their actions. So, you know, they may sue you or shut you down or SWAT team raid you, and then they may not even talk to you. That really sounds like freedom, doesn't it? Boy, thanks for saving the internet, Obama.
You like your freedom?
234 of 107. Although the Enforcement Bureau will attempt to respond to requests for advisory opinions expeditiously, we decline to establish any firm deadlines to rule on them or issue a response. Talk to the hand.
Yeah, they're not listening.
It's an Obama phone scam to the big telecoms.
The signal's going out, but they're not going to answer you if they don't want to.
It's a total power grab.
Don't play ball.
It's
what they want.
It's just unbelievable.
It's
but don't worry, in Appendix Final Rules,
listen to this.
They just have some statements about 8.5, no blocking. 8.7, no throttling. 8.9, no paid.
It's paid.
Prioritization. I guess that's where you pay to have your stuff pushed out more. And they're actually saying that may stop Google ads.
Right, and if since it probably
you pay
will.
there to get your ad promoted more, but that's just how it works. And there's a bunch of lawsuits getting ready over this, so it'll just become a big battle of paying off politicians to decide how it ends up regulatorily being set up. And so it's just putting the internet up on the chopping block is what this is doing. It'll be a huge fight. Billions will be spent on lawyers by all sides. And in the end, the telecoms will come in and take over the internet as they planned at the beginning. Harvest right.
So it's just a way on how they can take over the internet and get to really put the claws on all people, and not just the internet, but every work, copyrighted material, music, books, everything. Like what we feared, what we were talking about earlier in the news. This is what they are trying to. This is what they're trying to pass in the law right now. They snuck it out today to get it out. They're kind of sneaky, little thing like they do a lot of things. It's just continuing on that little sneaky kind of trend, like mouse and cat mentality. It's how the government's acting. They're the cat and we're the mouse. And that's what they did here. So, folks, we need to really do something about this. I mean, this is really bad stuff. like I said, we need your support, just like Alex Jones needs your support. And we hope that you'll be able to help us out so we can continue to bring these high-quality broadcasts and programming to you and news. It says we're here in light of the truth and for the search of righteousness and to tell you the truth, unbiased, unfiltered, and to tell you what really is going on, where a lot of stations just want to glaze over and don't tell you the things because their allegiance is to the New World Order. But the independent media is the ones that are really looking out for your well-being and safety and telling you the real truth about things. And please support us any way you can. Please donate. Please subscribe. You can subscribe for free. You can watch for free, but please donate. Send it to 7110 New Hunter Road, apartment 423, Mechanicsville, Virginia 23111. And you can address it to New Hunter Church of Christ or to DeSilvis Media, depending on where you want to send it to. If you want it for broadcasting, put it on there. If you want to put it towards the logos, for logos, $50 or something to pay down the books. You can call Logos, as a matter of fact, and you can go on there and you can call Logos and donate money to my account. You get on there, you call Logos, and just tell them you would like to make a donation when you give them my email address, which I'm going to give you here in a second. And then you can get on there, folks, and donate money towards the account or give store credit. It's a real good arrangement, folks. When you're giving in that kind of way, it's really a good way to help us out. With paying some things down, and also would help us so we can do more for people. And like I was saying, it's so important if you do that. That'll definitely help us to be able to do what we need to do, so we can be able to do more, because we have more materials to utilize from that in our library that you normally would have to go to a library for, which I don't have a car and I don't drive, so this is perfect for me as a ministry or just use it as radio station. But I want to tell you, what you do is you call this 1-800 number. It's 1-800-875 6467. If you want to make a donation to my Logos account, just give my name, Michael DeSilvis. That's Mikel, and a capital D, small e, capital S, small ILVIS. Okay, and that is in my email address. They're going to ask you for is Mikel, lowercase. It's all lowercase. B as in boy, T as in Tom, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, 71@gmail.com. And you just give them that information, and then you just tell them I want to make a one-time donation or I want to make a monthly donation. If 5 of you give $52, 5 of you, I see. No. 5 of you give $52, that'll take care of our Logos thing. And if you could do that every month, that would definitely help. Or if you want to give some store credit or maybe buy some books on my wish list to help our library grow, that would definitely be beneficial too. So please help us out in that regard. And of course you can give donations to us at the address that we gave earlier. And our phone number where we can be reached is 804-789-9373. Remember, we care for you, and the only way that we can do more as independent media to fight these things and to inform you of these things is with your donations. Because I don't get no money from the government, and I wouldn't take it. I'd rather get it from you, because you're the boss. And I need the money so I can continue to do more work for you. Honestly, to get the news out. And to risk it getting it to you. I love you, and I want you to be informed. Not to be scared, but be informed. So you know what to do as true American patriots of what true Americans really are. Thank you for listening. Please help support us any way you can. Remember, you can subscribe for free, and you can also watch for free. But please donate. It's very important. We really do need donations. There's a computer, the new battery we need for this battery unit here. We need some new light bulbs for this light, flickering in and out. They're getting ready to go out. I don't have no money for that. We need help with the electricity. We need help with the rent. We need help with Logos. Any way you can help us out, please help us out. Really appreciate it. And even use our way you can help us out is also use us at DeSilvis Media. You can take advantage of our services and things that we offer here. Our products are cleaning products, computer products, household products. And a whole lot more. Just call me up and I'll hook you up, and it can even help you get things that you need too at a discount too, through our many vendors that we deal with and who we're affiliated with. All right, thanks a lot, and I love you, and take care. Please stay tuned, and please help us out. Remember, this is a broadcast of the InfoWars. There's some really challenging times with broadcasting and media that we're getting ready to go in, and they're very scary. Please stay tuned, and please don't disregard what we're saying here, because this is true stuff. It was just released today. And this is just a small piece of what is in the 400-page document of what Alex Jones read to you. See you later.